move my hand off the mic. We are live again in the shop. Um, just coming to you while I'm working on the scroll saw again. You guys liked when I did this last time, so I'm just randomly hopping on and cutting on the scroll saw. So today we have a mix of two different things. So we have some MDF like anemones. So these are going to be fairly easy to cut, no super small pieces, which is fantastic. But we do have some small centers on the MDF. You can see I use tape here. And then we do have some hardwood cutouts we're going to be doing as well. So a bunch of petals here, and these are all going to need shaped as well, hopefully today. Actually, it has to be today. So just a fun little fact. I've been out of electricity for like the past 3 days since like Saturday night. So all of Easter weekend, we did not have electricity. So I really haven't gotten to get into the shop. I worked on a painting, which was really fun. And all of these pieces actually are going to go onto that painting. And then I have an art show this weekend. So this piece hopefully can go to the art show. I need to get it all finished. So we're just going to jump in and get to cutting, but that's what we're working on today. I want to get the MDF pieces cut first, I think, and maybe even shaped first so I can get them to the paint room. The spray paint takes a lot longer to dry than like when I'm going to oil up the hardwood. So that's what we're doing. And we're going to jump on in. I'm going to just tilt you down to the saw a little bit. And I'm using my phone. This is the first time I went live on my phone, so I think it should be fine, but we'll try it out and see how it goes. Hi, Julie. I was wondering if you were going to pop on. I always pop on at the most random times, but hello. So I'm cutting a new flower piece. So I haven't had electricity for like 3 days. So hi, hi Thanos. So finally back in the shop. But I have a art piece that I am working on to shape some 3D flowers. I did the painting um, the past weekend, basically. But I hope you had a good Easter. Okay, so what am I doing? So I am cutting some pieces on my scroll saw to make a 3D wood art piece. Um, so I do mainly like flowers and things like that. So I'm getting those all cut right now so I can shape them and put them on a painting that I did this weekend. And we have at least 2 more flowers to cut and a bunch of small flowers. So this is my template for all the small ones. So a bunch of tiny petals, and they're all numbered. I don't know if you can see, I cut them on my laser, but I tried to keep them numbered so I knew which petal went with which flower, because it's going to get very confusing for sure. right, so here's what the petals look like once they're cut. So basically, I cut each of them individually and then I try and stack them on kind of like a board or something that I can go back to and easily know which petals go with which. And it's basically just like a giant puzzle for me to have to put back together, which is a lot of fun. But I do draw these on like my iPad, so since I'm the puzzle maker, it makes it a little easier to put back together. I like to think so, but uh, maybe not 100%. It's still difficult when I lose a piece or I don't know which piece goes with which. So, um, oh, I did have a piece that didn't cut or I didn't template properly. So I'm going to cut this to match a flower I already cut. Did you know that, Julie? Did you know that I draw these on my iPad? I don't know if I've really shown that process that much, to be honest. Put the button there. Oops. A girl on her toes. Yeah, I I don't know how it was. So basically, what happened? We had a giant storm come through. They said it wasn't a tornado, but it felt like it could have been like the start of one. Um, and it took out a bunch of phone lines and like power lines where we live. But the line that is connected to my house literally fell right on our road, and there's like 7 people on a road because I live in the middle of nowhere. So it only affected 7 people. So we were like one of the last people to get it back, unfortunately. But it was kind of crazy. Like we didn't have any bottled water or anything like that. So luckily, my parents still had power, and my boyfriend's mom got power like a day or a day and a half before we did. So we were like stealing water, stealing food. We've had a generator to like hook everything up. It was kind of crazy. But yeah, I was itching to get down here because I couldn't with the power being out, and it kind of threw off my schedule with trying to go to a show this weekend. So now we're just frantically trying to finish everything. All right, this is the piece I said I had to cut into this flower. We'll see how close I can follow the lines. Not too bad. So, should work. Oh no! So sorry you have to have surgery. That sounds not fun at all. Yeah, and you probably will be out. If a spine does not sound fun. But sending you well wishes and good thoughts and prayers because that's tough. And hopefully you have some nice family and helpers that are gonna help you through that, getting stuff done around the house and whatnot. I'm trying to find the best spot. I noticed this hose is getting in the way because it keeps falling. Where you can see the blade and not the hose. Maybe there. I'm glad you can live vicariously through me, Julie, because we got a lot to do in the next day or so. Like I said, I never know when I'm gonna go live. I just kind of randomly pop on, so I love that you get to join because it's never scheduled. It's always random. But you have seen me draw on my iPad, yeah. And I want to show more of that process too. I'm working on, since you're a fellow scroller, working on really upping my like scroll saw templates that I have available for just like purchase for people that want to make different projects. So that's the goal. Hopefully later this summer I'll be working on. I'm taking a couple months off of shows just to give myself time to prep for like fall and Christmas because I always feel behind for fall and Christmas. So I think just giving myself that breather time plus some time to work on some digital work will be nice, but scary but nice because shows in the summer is normally how I bring in most of my money. So doing something different is scary, but I think in the long run it will be a good choice for sure. Good. I'm glad to hear your husband and kids are going to be checking up on you. Yeah, this is going to be a pretty big flower piece. I don't know if I measured it, uh, but it has a lot of purples. I think it's about like a 20 by 26, maybe. So not as big as the white oak piece I just did. Um, but it has, again, the cedar and the purple heart that I used in that round mosaic. So I've been on a purple kick lately. So it's gonna have the same kind of vibe slash color palette, I guess, as some of my more recent pieces. But um, yeah, obviously I love flowers, all things nature. So that seems to be what I gravitate towards for making. I feel like this one petal looks a little off, and I can't figure out if it connects or what's going on with it. I gotta look that up on my puzzle. Is it a pretty big art show this weekend? So it's close to DC. I've actually never done it. This is one of the new art shows that I've put on my roster. Um, and since you know I'm in the Northeast, weather this time of year is like a little unpredictable. So I've never had great turnouts for spring shows, unfortunately, but it's just one I wanted to try since it was in the DC area. So we'll see. I don't really know, to be honest. And with the electric going out, I haven't really had a lot of time to finish a ton of new stuff. Luckily, I had all the pieces from Mosaic Madness that I got to complete. So I'm not feeling great about it, to be honest, but we'll see. And this is half inch MDF, or it might be, it's either half inch or like 5/8. I'm not sure exactly which one. I have both, and they look the same to me just for looking at it. But I used to use 3/4 like a long time ago, and then I just found that the bulk of it really wasn't worth it. For one, how long it took me to cut and shape. So I normally just use I use half inch, 3/8, which my lumber provider makes, and 1/4 inch MDF. Those are normally the three I rotate on and off in between. Oh, and I just realized my phone might die here soon. So maybe we'll cut the last flower and we'll call it. But yeah, those are the three that I normally use for pieces, but normally all my flowers are half inch or 5/8. I have both, like I said. I go in between and they look the same to me. They're like very close. But this is probably half inch now when I'm looking at it. And you can see how tiny these are, so I'm going to mark on the bottom so that way when I take the template off, I know which flower it goes with because they are so tiny. I am going to probably mess them up, but I did C for cedar and PH for purple heart when I do the hardwood ones, but I wanted the centers to be painted, so we got the 3 cedar centers right now. Oh, those are real tiny. Purple's gonna be gorgeous. I know, I'm excited. I'm in a color kick right now. It's a much needed color kick, honestly, but I really am liking the purples. Okay, so we got all the tiny little centers. Um, let's see. My phone is gonna die, but we're gonna keep going for a little bit, I think. Um, oh, we have more centers. Just kidding. 2 more centers, the purple heart centers. I almost forgot. Oh, I have to go to the grocery store after this. I'm gonna be covered in dust. What else is new? What else is new? All right, so I got all the centers, and then the purple heart doesn't have too many pieces because there's fewer of them. I think I do want to cut it on the miter saw though, so I might just go ahead and start cutting a few of these cedar petals just to start them. Because what time is it? 2:30. Not too bad. sometimes I get lost in here and I'm like, what time is it? I've been doing this forever. All right, I might need to put these on an extra board. So like I said, I try to number them so I know kind of where they go. We'll see if that helps me out or not. Because some of the numbers, like this one, you can't really read. I know it's a 1, so it goes with cedar flower 1, and some of them are super clear. So we shall see if it works or not. I want to see what they look like all together, though. It's going to be cool. Okay, I think I have all the pieces for flower number 1. So before we jump off, let's see if we can figure this out. Because like I said, I can read some of them, but some of them I can't. So that's not super helpful. But I know I obviously numbered them around the center in order. So there's 1, 2, 3. Can't tell which one's 4, 5. It looks like an 8. We'll say that's an 8. I might have to look at these pieces to see on my puzzle, on my drawn puzzle, which one goes with which. I'm not sure which one of these is 8. That doesn't look right. I'm definitely gonna have to look at my drawing, but that's the gist of it, is it's gonna come out like that, and then once I shape it. But I definitely need to check out my drawing there because this is not all of the pieces. I'm making sure I'm just not missing one here. And then we'll have our little painted center, which I'm going to shape down and round down because you can see the height difference there from the center to all the petals. So yeah, awesome. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with me on a random shop cutting day. Julie, I hope you recover soon whenever you have your surgery, but hope I will catch you guys in the next one. And if you're not already, make sure you subscribe to my channel if you like woodworking content. I'll see you soon.